So what does being Hispanic mean to you?
Yeah, for me, being Hispanic is more than just the label, really. It's always having to explain myself to others, especially because of the way I look and the way I talk. And it can be pretty frustrating at times, but I've learned that I have to come to terms with my identity and accept my African, Spanish, and indigenous roots.
I don't know, being Hispanic means like we're different.
More than anything, I also feel like being Hispanic just means carrying this kind of joyous, but also carrying these hardships with you. You know, being in a country or being a minority within a minority is not easy, and I feel like we have this stereotype cast upon us of being a certain way. You know, Mexican, illegal immigrants, and people don't really give us a chance.
Being Hispanic, well, it means a lot to me because like I know that I'm different than a lot of other people, especially growing up in the mountains of North Carolina. I lived in Hendersonville, North Carolina for like all my life. I was born there, raised there, but I wasn't raised in the, I guess, traditions that the community had.
For me, being Hispanic, especially in the U.S., it's something that it's really up to an individual choice. But for me, what it means is just staying true to where I come from.
Like I wasn't raised with the traditions that the people in Hendersonville had. I was raised with the traditions my parents had. Growing up en un chiquito ranchito de Mexico, que se llama Catarina, and they immigrated from Mexico, first generation, so they didn't speak English, and I mean I didn't either for a good bit of time. So I was just used to speaking Spanish at home. Then I got to school, and I remember, watching Winnie the Pooh, like English videos, but like, I guess that's how I learned Spanish, but I knew I was never that good at it. And then, I mean, being Hispanic, I feel like I'm different than a lot of other people, especially like come from a different culture. But the good thing about it is I could share that culture with my friends. We just have different cultures, especially like my parents are, they're immigrants, and they came here. This is their first generation immigrants in America, and I know a lot of other Hispanics have gone through similar things.
Being Hispanic means an opportunity to discover the other half of myself. I'm half Hispanic, half Black, and I come from a community that's predominantly African American. So when I think about being Hispanic, I kind of think about just discovering the other half of me.
Being Dominican American, especially, we don't look like maybe the typical Hispanics. We're very mixed. We have very different backgrounds. So, for example, I look maybe a little more dark skinned than most Hispanics do. Hispanics are very varied in their backgrounds, and I think that's something people don't really realize. I think people in American culture, more than anything, have this kind of stereotype of Hispanics looking Mexican, when in fact we're very, very different. Well, being Hispanic just means being different to me. Hispanics are very varied in their background, and that's something people don't really realize. I think most people in American culture have this stereotype, Hispanics looking Mexican, and so when they do meet someone that's from a different culture that's not Mexico, they kind of feel confused because, they're brought up with this idea of, all Hispanics look a certain way, when in fact you can't really pin it down to like a certain feature. Being Dominican American, I feel very like conflicted in the ways people look at me. I might look a certain way, either Black or mixed, and people kind of seem very surprised when they see that I'm not that, that I'm Hispanic. Well, being Hispanic just means, being different. I think people have this misconception of Hispanics looking like Mexicans, but in fact we are very varied in the way we look.
I guess just being Dominican in particular, I remember growing up all through school, everybody would assume I was either Mexican or Puerto Rican. Nobody knew where the Dominican Republic was. Nobody knew what it was.
To me, being Hispanic means eating amazing food like papalaw and carina, which is these little potatoes with a secret spicy yellow sauce, spending a great time with the family, and watching amazing soccer games like Brazil-Argentina.
Being Hispanic to me means being a part of this crazy, welcoming culture. Hispanic people are loud and we're crazy and we love to do awesome things, but crazy is good. Crazy is not boring. And I love being Hispanic because you can go to any country where they speak Spanish and bond over food or song or dance, and everyone is like, oh yeah, excited to meet you. There's not really any judgment and everyone's like going with the flow.
I also think family is an important part about being Hispanic. My family, we're all very joyous people. We're really close. It's the most important part of everything we do, and I feel like that is really the most defining part about being Hispanic.
I guess in a sense you feel proud because you represent one of this small population. And whenever you feel like you're successful at what you do, or just feeling proud of yourself generally, I guess, it's a way to, you're representing your population and you're representing where you come from. You're making it seem like everything that our parents and our grandparents worked for, means something.
And really, being Hispanic has a lot to do with perseverance and a lot of hard work. And it comes with a lot of responsibility because you feel like you have to set an example for those that are coming after you and kind of reach back as well. As a minority, especially in the United States, it's very important that we put enough effort into what we're doing and set an example so that more and more people come up and we really show our presence everywhere that we go.
Also, I think being Hispanic just means being people, who are very happy and full of joy and, excited about everything that's included in their culture. Everyone in my family, is very excited. Music drives us, art drives us. We're really very excited people, very joyous about life and everything in general. Even though we might not be in the best situation economically, we're always happy, and family really drives our culture more than anything. I think that's probably the most important thing.